Yo, what is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about UFC Fight Night Felder versus Dos Anjos. As you guys already know, Paul Felder, he was not supposed to be fighting on Saturday. Rafael Dos Anjos was supposed to be fighting Islam Makhachev, and Islam was like a minus 400, minus 500 favorite. Absolutely insane. But as you guys probably know, Islam Makhachev ended up getting injured about 2 days ago on Saturday or Sunday. And Paul Felder is actually going to be taking his place with literally 5 days' notice. There are 12 fights on this card. About 7 fights on the main card. Should be an absolutely amazing fight card. Now, if you look at the first fight of the night, it's two bantamweights taking it on in Tony Gravely and Geraldo de Freitas. Tony Gravely's 19-6, Geraldo de Freitas 12-5. They both lost their last fight. Tony Gravely lost his last fight to Brett Johns. Geraldo de Freitas lost his last fight to Chris Gutierrez. Now, the thing that's going to play a huge factor in this fight is definitely Tony Gravely's striking. Geraldo de Freitas is a little bit taller and has a little bit longer of a reach, but I still think Tony Gravely is going to use his striking abilities to definitely dominate the fight on the feet, and I do think this fight will go all the way. I don't really see either fighter landing in this fight. I have a feeling Tony Gravely is just going to win this fight by unanimous decision. The next fight we have is between Miranda Marcos and Kanako Murata. Miranda Marcos is the 15th best strawweight in the world. Kanaka Murata is currently the 25th best strawweight in the world. Now, Kanaka Murata is 11-1. You look at her only loss on her record. It was early in her career, where she got a third round rear naked choke submission loss. After that loss, though, she came back with 2 decision wins: a first round Anaconda, a second round Von Flue choke, another second round Von Flue choke, a first round rear naked in Invicta, and a very close split decision win in Invicta. And I mean, she was supposed to fight Lavinia Souza on this fight card right now, but Miranda Marcos is stepping in on pretty short notice to be fighting Kanaka Murata. Miranda Marcos, she has a horrible record. 10 wins, 9 losses, and 1 draw. It's not the best record at all. You look at her past couple of fights. First round armbar loss to Mackenzie Dern. Unanimous decision loss to Amanda Ribas. A very close split decision win over Ashley Yoder. A unanimous decision loss over Claudia Gadelia. A first round armbar over Angela Hill. Okay, that's pretty good. Then she got a draw to Marina Rodriguez. I mean, her career inside the UFC has been super duper up and down. Some people think this is going to be the fight she comes back in, but I don't think so. I think she's going to lose this fight because Kanaka Murata, her submission game, her ground game is going to be absolutely amazing in this fight. She's going to dominate Miranda Marcos on the ground. I think this fight will go all the way. I don't see Kanaka Murata getting a submission in this fight. She could definitely get one, though. But yeah, that's my prediction. I have Kanaka Murata winning this fight by unanimous decision. Alright, now the next fight on this fight card is between Luis Smolka and Jose Alberto Quinones. This is a pretty close bantamweight bout. I mean, Luis Smolka is currently 16-7, Jose Alberto Quinones 8-4. They're both 1-2 in their last 3 fights. Luis Smolka lost his last fight to Casey Kenyon by guillotine choke, won the fight before that to Ryan McDonald by knockout, lost the one before that to submission to Matt Schnell. Jose Alberto Quinones lost his last fight to Sean O'Malley by knockout, won the fight before that by unanimous decision, and lost the fight before that by submission rear naked choke to Nathaniel Wood. Now, they're both similar age. They're both pretty much 30 years old. Luis Smolka is coming in as a slight favorite at minus 145. Jose Alberto Quinones plus 120, so it is a pretty close fight. Now, they both have similar heights and reach. 5'9" for Luis Smolka, 5'8" for Jose Alberto Quinones. Pretty much the same exact reach. Now, the thing that's going to play a huge factor in this fight is definitely Luis Smolka's ground game. I think they'll be pretty even on the feet. I think Luis Smolka can definitely manage Jose Alberto Quinones' his striking. But if this fight goes to the ground, Luis Smolka is going to have some fun there. I think this fight will go all the way. I think Luis Smolka will win 2 rounds. I think Quinones can definitely win one of those rounds. But I definitely think Luis Smolka will definitely win this fight by unanimous decision. Alright, now the next fight we have is between Alex Morano and Rhys McKee. Rhys McKee, as you guys know, he just got that devastating loss to Khamzat Chimaev. You guys all know who Khamzat is. Alex Moreno just got a loss to Chaos Williams by knockout. Before that, had a unanimous decision win over Max Griffin, a knockout over Zach Otto, and a unanimous decision over Kenan Song. Reese McKee, only one fight inside the UFC against Kamza, as we already said. Alex Moreno, 30 years old. Reese McKee, 25. Alex Moreno's actually a pretty good favorite at minus 190. Reese McKee, plus 160. And I think those betting odds are a little bit off. I think Reese McKee should be a little bit, like maybe plus 130. I think this fight's a lot closer than the betting odds are suggesting. But I do definitely still think Alex Moreno will win this fight by unanimous decision. I know Reese McKee has definite good striking, but Alex Moreno showed how good of striking he has against Max Griffin in their fight, and I do think Alex Moreno will win this fight by unanimous decision. Alright, now the next fight we have, which is the last fight on the prelims between Ashley Yoder and Miranda Granger. The 21st ranked Ashley Yoder, Miranda Granger is currently ranked 33rd. This is honestly probably the closest fight on this card. If you look at the betting odds for this one, Ashley Yoder minus 120, Miranda Granger minus 105. So they're both favorites to win this fight. Ashley Yoder is on a 2-fight losing streak. In her last fight, she honestly did really good against Livina Souza, but barely edged out the loss. Livina Souza barely beat her. The fight before that, she lost to Randa Marcos by split decision. Before that, she did have 2 wins over Siri Kondo by unanimous decision and Amanda Cooper in a very close fight by split decision. Miranda Granger is coming off a loss to Amanda Lemos by submission by rear naked choke. That was about 10 months ago. Honestly, they have the same height, pretty similar reach. Ashley Yoder, I kind of think, is going to lose this fight. She is a slight favorite to win this one. But I think Granger's submission skills are going to be way too much for Ashley Yoder to handle. I think she'll dominate this fight kind of wherever it goes. I know Ashley Yoder had a very, very good fight against Livina Souza where she barely lost that fight. But Miranda Granger, I think she's going to come in here and win the fight by unanimous decision. Alright, now the next fight we have, the first fight on the main card. This fight should be good. Kay Hansen, 7-3, taking on Corey McKenna, 5-1. Now, Kay Hansen, she is on a 4-fight win streak over Jinyu Frey, Liana Pirosin, and Nicole Cagliari, and Carolina Jimenez. All those 4 fights, 3 of them were inside Invicta FC, 1 was inside the UFC. Cora McKenna, just got a win on the unanimous decision in the Contender Series about 2 months ago. Before that, she was on Cage Warriors, did really good there. But they're both 21 years old. They're both young fighters going into the UFC. Kay Hansen look at her reach, guys. Kay Hansen, 63-inch reach. Corey McKenna, 58.5-inch reach. I'm sorry, Corey McKenna. Kay Hansen's going to go out there and use that reach on the feet and dominate on the feet, and if she wants, go on the ground and dominate with her good submission skills. And I wouldn't be surprised if she gets a submission in this fight, but I just don't see it. I think this fight will go all the way, and I have Kay Hansen win the fight by unanimous decision. Alright, now the next fight on this card is between Antonio Arroyo and Eric Anders at middleweight. Now, Eric Anders is actually stepping in on short notice as Antonio Arroyo's opponent, Andreas Michelidas, ended up withdrawing. I'm not really sure how soon or how long ago Andreas Michelidas ended up withdrawing from this fight, but Eric Anders is definitely coming in this fight on short notice. Now, even though Eric Anders is coming in on short notice, I really have a feeling that he's going to go out there, try to get a knockout, because he is still ranked 28th at middleweight worldwide. This is like the last push to get a title at the end of his career, honestly. He's going to need this win. He's going to go out there and try to get a knockout. But just like the other fights, I don't see a finish in this fight. Eric Anders is going to go out there. He's going to go for the knockout, but I don't think he'll get it. He'll win this fight by unanimous decision. Alright, now the next fight on the card is going to disappoint me for whoever I pick. I'm such a fan of both fighters. Brendan Allen versus Sean Strickland. Man, I don't really know, man. Brendan Allen, 15-3. He has really good submission skills. Sean Strickland, really good on the feet. He did get a loss about 2.5 years ago to Elizabeth Zaleski from a spinning hook kick. 2 fights before that against Kamaru Usman by unanimous decision. I mean, his losses have been against really, really good competition. Brendan Allen, his losses have also been against pretty good competition as well. Anthony Hernandez in LFA, Eric Anders and Trevin Giles, a very good competition he's lost to. Both of these guys only lose to really good competition. So whoever loses this fight, I'm gonna feel really bad for because they're both trying to go up in the rankings. But I'm sorry, Sean Strickland. I think Brendan Allen is just a little bit better on the ground. I think the striking game is gonna be pretty even. Sean Strickland might have a little bit of an edge, but if this fight goes to the ground, Brendan Allen's gonna use that grappling advantage to win this fight by unanimous decision. All right, the next fight we have is a heavyweight bout between Don'Tale Mayes and Roque Martinez. Both of these fighters had their chance inside the UFC, and they both lost. Don'Tale Mayes, he won that fight on the Contender Series with a nice knockout in the very first round, and then got into the UFC, lost his first fight in the promotion to Cyril Gane by a heel hook, and then lost his next fight to Rodrigo Nascimento by submission, by rear naked choke submission. Both of his losses inside the UFC have been submissions. Roque Martinez, he had one fight in the UFC to Aleksandar Romanov, lost that fight by submission from arm triangle choke. Honestly, Don'Tale Mayes, 28 years old, almost 29 years old, 6'6" tall, 81.5-inch reach. Guys, that is tall, man. That is a huge reach. Don'Tale Mayes is going to go out there. He's going to use that reach. He's going to use that height, and he's going to get a knockout. This is a heavyweight bout. This fight is ending as a knockout for Don'Tale Mayes in the first or second round. All right, now after that knockout, I think the next fight between Julian Marquez and Saparbek Safarov is going to be pretty good. It's a middleweight bout. Julian Marquez coming off a loss, actually, in his last fight to Alessio Di Chirico by split decision, and that was 2 years ago. Now, before that, he actually had one fight in the UFC, which was against Darren Stewart, who he beat by submission from front choke. And before that, got that Phil Hawes head kick KO on the Contender Series. And before that was in the LFA, did pretty good there. Saparbek Safarov, he had one fight in the UFC. He had four fights into the UFC, and his 1-3 inside the promotion. His first fight inside the UFC, he ended up losing to Jean Vellante by knockout. Lost his next fight to Tyson Pedro by Kimura. Came back with a very close unanimous decision win over Niggy Ramon. And lost his most recent fight to Rodolfo Vieira by submission from arm triangle choke. Julian Marquez, he's been out for a while, but I don't really think that's going to be that much of a problem for Julian Marquez. He's going to go out there and show his power. He is definitely going to get a knockout in this fight. 100%. I'll bet all my money on this. Julian Marquez, knockout first or second round. Alright, so after those two knockouts in a row... we go to the co-main event of the evening between Abdul Razak Alhassan and Chaos Williams. Now, Abdul Razak Alhassan, his last fight was against a very, very good fighter. Honestly, this fight 3 months ago, I honestly had no clue who was going to win that fight. But Munir Lazez just kind of used his reach, stayed back a little bit, and tapped with Abdul Razak Alhassan. Abdul didn't really get to show his power, as in his fights before that loss to Munir Lazez. He got a knockout over Nico Price, knockout over Sabah Homasi, and a knockout over Sabah Homasi yet again. Abdul Razak Alhassan, he's an absolute beast. Chaos Williams, this is his second fight inside the UFC. His last fight was against Alex Morano, who is also on this fight card. He won that fight by knockout. This fight should be fireworks. Both of these guys are going to go out there and try to get a knockout. Chaos Williams, I'm sorry, Chaos is not the right name. Abdul Razak Alhassan is going to put Chaos in your face and knock you out in the first or second round. All right, now... to be honest, I really think 3 knockouts are going to happen in a row between Don'Tale Mayes, Julian Marquez, and Abdul Razak Alhassan. It should be an amazing main card. Brendan Allen, Sean Strickland, all those 3 knockouts. Antonio Arroyo, Eric Anders, Kay Hans, and Corey McKenna. The prelims are even really, really good. There's 5 fights on the prelims. This fight card is absolutely amazing. And now we reach the main event of the evening. Alright, now, I have no idea what the betting odds for this fight are. I honestly have no idea what they would be. But to be honest, Paul Felder, his last fight against Dan Hooker, ended in split decision. I had a feeling he actually won that fight. No joke, I literally thought, sitting there watching that fight back in December of last year, I literally thought Paul Felder won that fight. I kind of thought it was a robbery. Now, watching it back a couple times, I could see how they gave it to Dan Hooker. It was a very close fight against a top 5 lightweight fighter in the world, Rafael dos Anjos. If you look at his record in his past couple of fights, to be honest, come on. Lost to Michael Chiesa, lost to Leon Edwards. Won against Kevin Lee. Okay, nice 4th round arm triangle choke submission. Lost to Kamaru Usman, lost to Colby Covington. He hasn't been doing good lately. coming in to fight Paul Felder, I mean, I don't know, man. This is going to be a very, very close fight. I think this fight's going to actually go all the way. I don't see a knockout or a submission from either fighter. I have a feeling Paul Felder's going to... I have a feeling, man. I think Paul Felder's going to come in here on short notice. And I really have a feeling he's going to win this fight. Probably by unanimous decision. Alright, so those are my picks. I have Paul Felder winning in the main event by unanimous decision. I have Abdulrazak Alhassan winning by knockout. Julian Marquez also winning by knockout. Dante Almeida winning by knockout. Brendan Allen winning by decision. Antonio Arroyo losing to Eric Anders by decision. Kay Hansen winning by unanimous decision. Ashley Yoder losing to Miranda Granger by unanimous decision. Aleksandar winning his fight by unanimous decision. Smolka winning his fight by unanimous decision. Kanaka Murata winning her fight by unanimous decision. And then finally in the first fight of the night, Tony Gravely winning his fight by unanimous decision. It should be an absolutely amazing fight card. A lot of people thought that Islam Makhachev versus Rafael dos Anjos was just going to be Islam Makhachev absolutely dominating that whole entire fight. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. But now that Paul Felder's coming in, this should be a much more interesting main event. But I have Paul Felder winning that fight by unanimous decision. Should be an amazing fight card. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe. This has been a fun video, but I'm out of here.